All right, before we get started, I would just like to say first and foremost, Ka Hala La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to all of the sincere elders, apostles, prophets, Akiam or Akwa, the bishops, the disciples, everybody that's coming into the sincere 100% truth. And I want to give double honors to the apostles of GMS that I study with and learn from daily also. Right now, this is one of the members of GMS also. It is called Biblical Defenders. Now, if you're not watching the Biblical Defenders, then you're probably missing out on some really good information. Plus, he makes great videos. So, if you want to watch somebody really put a deep biblical scriptural cuts into the Christianity doctrine, this is the guy you go to. And I mean, all of GMS's has really good classes, but I personally like to watch these. And this class actually got under my skin a little, so I was going to play a little bit of it and then get some scriptures. And it's going to be just a really simple breakdown. Let's go.
But my man in the back, all right, he is able to like just go all out with. Do you guys see this? My man in the back, he's like full out with the. Yeah, I wonder what the thing is.
Okay, I gotta stop right there. First of all, my brother right there is a Gadite. Clearly, he's got full garment on for being so-called Native Nation or so-called Indian. So we clearly know that he's a Gadite, and so does vocabulary, stupid face semantics Malone. But now, if we really want to focus on somebody's garment, let's start from head to toe. This woman is going off in every direction. Okay, does anybody know what when you embroider something, right? You broided, to weave. She's wearing a weave. She's got her hair broided. She's got her hair weaved. She doesn't have her head covered. Half of her head is shaved. The one with the shaved head is shameful. Her hair is her glory, her honor. So she's got a prideful face and a haughty look. Her skin is showing. Her boobs are hanging out. She's got pants on, tight enough so you can see all of her crevices. And she's standing there in the congregation of men ready to speak. And this guy's got the nerve to talk about a Gadite that has the spirit to put on full garment. We've got ourselves a problem here, folks. But okay, vocab, go ahead. You've been marked. Keep talking. Keep talking that good nonsense. But let's go ahead and finish.
I mean, I'm kind of digging it away. I mean, he's got blue boots on. The cameraman's more elaborate than the others. All right, continue on, Dino. Let's see what you got to say.
Life, because you're so used to fitting niggas and catering to your every emotion. You understand? But we're up here as prophets of the Lord. And see that image of Christ right there? That's why she wants to save you. Because in her mind, she thinks she's looking at Christ. You understand? When really she should be paying attention to this black man right here. You understand? That's a real depiction of Christ.
Not like 90-year-old man.
No, Christ looks like a black man. And now I'm going to read it to you again. Just like I read it for Jack here. A lying piece of garbage. Now get Jeremiah 14 and 2 again. Because we out here for our people. That's just like I told Jack. And since I'm not trying to insult you, I'm trying to educate you a little bit. You understand? I'm not trying to insult you. You ever heard of...
I just gotta say this. The reason why these so-called black women love that so-called white Jesus image so much, because that's the image that empowers them. We don't empower them. We put them back in their place. See, they like that empowerment. Oh, look at me. I can go do what I want. And they have destroyed the earth in a record amount of time. And it says that too. Don't let your daughters go out and be whores. They'll destroy the earth. I should get that. Hold on. Let's get that. Leviticus 19 and 29. This is what I was talking about. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. So this is why I was saying, this is exactly what I was saying, that so-called white Jesus image empowers them. What it's really doing is whoring out the daughters of Zion, and it's destroying everything. That's why they put the woman above the man, because that's upside down according to scripture. That's upside down and backwards, and that's exactly what they want to keep producing to keep us from going home. But they cannot do nothing against prophecy but fulfill the prophecy, and that's what they're doing right now. Even with this isn't even the class. But let me get back into it. These people just it's really got me got under my skin for some reason with this one, because it's always about some black girl that you have to prove yourself to, that somehow can just walk out of just got off the bus with your bus pass and walked on over and decided that you were the authority at their platform. And as an authority, they had to explain to you. But you needed to, you could see her countenance, the way she's at her closed, her arms are closed, she has a closed posture. She's not willing to take in any information. She's only making her rebuttal as they speak. So she's not even listening to them. And that's what the so-called black woman does to the so-called black man. They don't even listen. They think that they know more. She thinks that she's smart. She truly thinks, with all of that work that they did to put up all of those signs, to get a platform, to study, to have all of these scriptures laid out, and she really thinks she can walk up and know more. That, it shows the level of pride. All right. She is fallen to whoredoms, and she doesn't realize it. It doesn't mean just going around and, of course, having like 100 different partners. Please believe me, none of them are innocent in that department. But everything else you're doing with your side weave, shaved head, and not covering your head to talk about the word, you're wearing clothes that expose your body. You just are prideful, high-minded, and you find yourself to be an authority over the so-called black man, when you're supposed to humble yourself. And you're not supposed to speak in the congregation of men. But you know what? Now let's get into it, what they were actually talking about. Because they're getting into Jesus. Gotta talk about some Jesus. And over here in the corner, right here in the bottom corner, on the bottom left corner, it says Jesus Christ is black. So that's what she has a problem with, like I said, because the God that she worshiped empowers her, which is Satan. All right, let's get back into it.
I know you never received it before in your life because you're so used to certain niggas and catering to your every emotion. You understand that? We're up here as prophets of the...
It was interesting to me that they felt the need to spell black, and so I was like, well, why don't we just go ahead and spell mourning too, if that's what we're doing here.
That shows you it's to the land, and that's where they get down to the ground. Okay, so that I think that is helping us see what's going on there. But the thing translated black is not describing Judah or Jeremiah or anybody else's phenotype. It's describing the process of your mourning, your languishing, you're sad, you're depressed during the famine. Or even, if you wanted to even stretch it further and make it a little more literal, we're going to show that it could be a situation where it could be that they're covered like in a soot type situation. We're going to show that it could be a situation where it could be that they're covered like in a soot type situation. That they're covered like in a soot type situation.
Sensational. I want to give all of them.
All right. All right. We just got to get into it. All right, there we go. That's what they're talking about. This is so funny. Judah mourneth, the gates thereof languish. The word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 1, just in case you were wondering. Okay. The word of the Lord came to Jeremiah concerning the dearth. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem has gone up. So what it's talking about is that, let's just say it's what they're talking about. What they're trying to say, this is exactly what Vocabulary Malone and his white, his female apologetic, Christ, whatever they are, the pastor, priestess, whatever she is. I don't know. All I know is that she shouldn't be speaking in the congregation of men, and she should humble herself. But what they're talking about is the gates are of languish, and they are black unto the ground. So when you look up black, it says the tense of Kedar, flesh. So it is talking about flesh, but they don't want to show you that. They want to show you something else. They're just talking about something. But let's go with this scenario. Let's just say that it was talking about the gates of the city being burned to the ground, or the rulership being completely destroyed. But, and not even use that to make the point. Instead, I've got a way better idea. Let's go to Genesis chapter 42, and we're going to start at verse 3. So, let me see. I just want to get this book right here. We'll just put it on top of that one. That's what we'll do. I just don't want any. This is my great grandmother. She died over, I think, 30 years ago. So this book is pretty old, but it's the big print. That way you vocabulary and that Eve can see the truth. Okay, I just want to make a point here. And so I'm just going to show you guys something about Joseph and his brethren. So we're in Genesis chapter 42, starting at verse 3. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. So he was worried about him. He didn't want anything to happen to him. So let's go to verse 5. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. So where was the famine? It was in Africa. What do the people look like in Africa? Oh, they're black. Well, that's where Jacob and the 10 sons lived too. They just blended right in because they were also black. But anyway, let's just keep going. Now I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove that they were black because the Egyptians at this time were black also. And Joseph was the governor over the land. In fact, if you go back, I think, to the chapter right before this one, when he had the dream, when he depicted the dreams and they were and he understood him, he actually made him a ruler. He said, "Who was wiser than a man like this?" And that had God with him. So there was only one person in Egypt that was over Joseph, and that was the Pharaoh. So Joseph was clearly a governor over the land, and it was that sold to all the people of the land. So he was the seller of the corn. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, and they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. So what it's saying is, Joseph looked just like the Egyptians. They couldn't tell Joseph from an Egyptian. The Egyptians at that time were black people. Now, further in history, the Romans did come and conquer over Egypt. This is thousands of years later. See, what these guys in the Christianity community will do is take everything and remove timelines and just put things that happened wherever they want. And that doesn't work. And that's why there's going to be a point where they're just going to have to shut up. Remember when Moses and Aaron, they were fighting against the magicians, and everything Moses and Aaron would produce, the magicians would produce. But then there came a certain point where the magicians had to shut up and hide themselves because they couldn't stand with Moses and Aaron any longer, because their power was Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Their power was much stronger. And the magicians had to eventually admit that they weren't going to be able to compete against them any longer, and they had to sit down and shut up. Vocab. Sit down and shut up and leave our women alone. She's already lost enough, and you got her even more messed up. Let's get back into it. I want to put one more nail in this coffin of the Israelites are white. I mean, didn't Moses put his hand in his garment and then pull it out and it was leprous, white as snow, and he put it back in his garment, pulled it out again, and it was normal? They're in the land of Canaan. I mean, it's a dead giveaway what these people look like, but you guys are not willing to, you're trying to put a mask over it and have all this mysticism and all these mystical thoughts, because that's all it is, because you know you can't stand with the truth. That's why you have to make up so much, I think, and it could have been, and ooh. No, let's stick to the Hebrew. Let's stick to the true breakdowns and stay in context. Now let's get one more. Let's get one more, because even, and everybody knows this one. This is one of the oldest ones in the book. First of all, let's go. We're going to go to the interlinear Bible. There it is. Interlinear Bible, Greek, Hebrew, English. We're going to Acts. Of course we're going to Acts. Vocab Malone, you should know by now we're going to Acts. Vocabulary Malone. This guy is weak. Acts 13. Let me get right in there. Let me get right down in there. Right down in there. It looks like I'm going to have to put the phone right up to it. Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. This is this would be the English and Hebrew. So word for word, English to Greek, word for word. English to Greek. Not Hebrew, Greek. So this is going to be the English to Greek, word for word. And it says, were some in Antioch among the existing church, prophets and teachers, both Barnabas and Simeon, he being called nigger, so-called black man. Oh no, that says Niger. Well, we're going to go ahead and go to the Strongs on this one, because it looks like it says nigger to me. But you know what? Before we go to the Strongs, why don't we go to one of those books that they read? That's what we'll do. We're gonna go to this book. We're gonna go to the In Living Bible Paraphrased, because that's a rewrite of English back into English, and I know that these guys love those English translations. So, Acts 13 and 1, and among the prophets and teachers of the church in Antioch were Barnabas and Simeon, were Barnabas and Simeon, who are also called, let me move my finger. Let me move my finger. The black man. Now, the black man. So what is the black man? Watch this. Now we know the black man is where are my fingers at? There it is. The black man is the nigger. Now what is a nigger? A nigger, according to the Strong's Concordance, according to the Greek, according to the correct breakdown, there it is, a Christian teacher and prophet at Antioch. And Simeon, that was called nigger. So, with that being said, yes, the Israelites were black, vocabulary Malone, all the way from the book of Genesis, all the way up into the book of Acts. Wait, let's get one more bonus. Let's get a bonus. How could we do any of this without pulling out Revelation, since she was talking about Yahushua himself, calling him Jesus. Let's get that, and then we'll call it, and we'll close out with some Jesus doctrine. What I'm going to do is knock some more of the dust off my great-grandmother's Bible. Giant print so we can all see it together. Let me get it opened and set up, and then I'm just going to destroy you. Also, I was looking for the Jesus doctrine, and I couldn't actually find it. So we're going to have to go with what the Bible actually says. All right, first things first. The word revelation. The word revelation means to reveal. So the angel that is sent forth unto his servant John, he is telling him in verse 2, he's going to reveal something to him. Who bear record of the word. This is verse 2. Who bear record of the word of Yahweh and of the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach and of all things that he saw. Write down what you see, John the Revelator. That is what it's saying. Let's see what John the Revelator physically saw, that he wrote down in a book that we're reading now. Let's see what he saw. And we're going to start at 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man. So he said he looked just like so-called God, who we call Yahweh. He is Yahushua. He is deliverer. So one who looked like the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to his foot and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hair were white like wool, white as snow. So he had a beard, a mustache, and an afro that were so gray they were white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Now, I've actually a lot of people, you know what? He liked to drink wine, but also in my heart, I always felt like, because I've gotten so mad before, that I popped a blood vessel in my eye. And I always felt like, and this is just my own vain imagination, so bear with me here, but he was so angry at the atrocities being done to his people that his eyes were turning red. Because I've been so angry, all the blood rushes to your head when the anger hits you. And it turns your eyes red, actually. And that's a proven fact. But the breakdown I've always been taught is that he liked to drink wine. But then they would call him a wine bibber, and there's a lot of scriptures on that. But anyway, his eyes were as a flame of fire. So the whites of his eyes, around the whites, it was red. And his feet were like fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. And his voice was the sound of many waters. So his feet were like fine brass, as if it burned. Burned. See, that's burned. That's past tense. That is past tense. So what a Christian will say, oh, well, when something's burning, it glows red. Burning? No, that would be present tense. This is where comprehension comes into play. Or you're just playing semantics and you're trying to change words in the Bible, and whoever changes even one word in this book, he's going to pour out all of the plagues that are written in the book. In fact, let me get that too. Hold on. Right there, guys. Right there. Revelation 22:18. For I testify unto every man. And what does it say? That heareth. So I testify unto every man that heareth the word of the prophecy of this book. If any man should add unto these things, Yahweh shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of this book and of the prophecy, Yahweh shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. You know what? It makes sense now why they try to change the words. They're not written in the book of life. Edomites are not written in the book of life, so it makes a lot of sense that they're going to try and tell you right here, it's that, when it's burning, things are red when they're burning. It says clearly, burned, burned, burned. And when something's burned, after it's been burned, I'll take you outside right now. I got a big pile of stuff I just burned. It's all black. I don't care what color it started off. It's all black now. So as they burned in a furnace, and his voice was the sound of many waters. Why is it sound of many waters? Because when he spoke, he could talk to 5,000 people, everybody being able to hear him. It actually scared the prophets. They were like, wow, he can do these things. So now you know he was a black man. Jacob was a black man. The 12 sons were all black. Joseph was so black, they thought he was an Egyptian. They lived in Canaan. That white Jesus, you can go on Netflix and watch the series called The Borgias, or however they say their name, Cesare Borgia. That's who you guys are worshiping, a false god and an Edomite devil that goes all the way back to Babylonian worship. And if you got eyes to see and ears to hear, I hope you got something out of this message. Call Halayama Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rekakadash Tuwa.